In my opinion, the key to developing a growth mindset and emancipating learners from the shackles of a fixed mindset is to allow them to feel safe to make mistakes. However, this is not as easy as it seems. Belief that intelligence is fixed can be deeply held by many pupils and parents, and as such they view mistakes as an indication of lack of ability. Able pupils just don't make mistakes. So as such, pupils disengage from a task or an activity when they make a mistake.
Have you been into here at all?
In my department, I'm proud of the fact that pupils are encouraged to safely experiment in maths, safe in the knowledge that mistakes are just learning opportunities. Not only does this help them improve their resilience, in terms of health and well-being, it turns the maths department, a place that terrified a generation of Scots, into somewhere safe. However, this is a message that has to be reinforced continually by staff and, more importantly, with the support of parents.
For me, it's not so much about not being able to do it, it's not having the confidence to do it. I used to get myself worked up about things, and then I developed a growth mindset which has helped me become much more resilient. Now I can work at it so that I can improve instead of just saying I can't do it all the time.
Mathematics is a very polarising subject for a lot of pupils. We see a lot of them coming to Calder Glen that have a lot of misconceptions. They say things like, oh, I've never been good at maths, or I'm a real natural at mathematics. And actually what we really try to do is reinforce the connection between hard work and success, and make sure that this message is reinforced frequently to the pupils. We're really trying to change the language that we use, not only with the pupils, but with the parents, and in all the communications that we have with them. Instead of saying things like, oh well done, what a clever boy, we really try to praise effort. That's all we're really interested in the department, is the effort pupils are prepared to put in to their learning in class and their learning at home. Parents can often, quite unintentionally, hinder or halt their children's learning mathematics by saying things like, oh, I was never good at mathematics at school. And we look to help them support their children at home. And one of the things that we've produced is a tips for parents and carers book, and within that it demonstrates methods that they can help their children with without really having to engage with the mathematics. Just looking for them to have learning conversations with the pupils about things they've been learning, mistakes they've made and how they've learned from those mistakes, and again reaffirming that message to the parents that we need them to praise the child's effort more than anything else.
A number of years ago I read some research that suggested that pupils improve best when they can picture how their brain's improving or growing.
And they found out the brain actually changes. Doesn't stay the same. The brain changes. The brain grows. Now that means you can change your brain.
A simple way I have of illustrating this with my classes is to use my fingers to talk about pathways between neurons in the brain. And in Piagetian terms, there's a confusion that all pupils have that they tend not to like when they don't understand a topic. And I describe that as the neurons in the brain trying to make pathways.
When you're getting that uncomfortable feeling, your brain's trying to do it, just like the guys in the knowledge, you're doing the same thing. You're trying to make connections.
Once these pathways make connections, that's when they get that eureka moment, that, oh, I get it now. However, these pathways are very fragile, and if they don't practice and go away and reinforce these, they'll easily break. So that's why if they've not practiced it, they'll come in and they'll say, I've forgotten that.
What do we have to do to make the connections? What's the thing we talk about all the time?
Practice.
Practice. More and more practice. More and more effort. The more you practice, the better connections you're going to have.
An alternative strategy here is to say that sometimes, perhaps earlier on in education, they've developed pathways that are not particularly good for them. For instance, a dislike of fractions, and how we can break that dislike and build a new, fresh, improved pathways. This is particularly strong when remediating some problems that pupils have.
Encouraging learners to use the word yet allows them to develop a mindset where they can influence their future learning in a positive way. This is empowering and creates a can-do attitude. Consider the statements, I can't differentiate and I can't differentiate yet. The addition of the word yet completely changes the context and dynamic of the sentence and shows the difference between a learner with a fixed mindset and one with a growth mindset.
I was overconfident in fourth year until I got to the prelim. The results shook my confidence and I developed a bit of a fixed mindset. I thought I was just not smart enough to take it in, but I got some extra help and support from teachers and some outside help, and I realised it was just that I didn't know it yet. It wasn't out of my grasp, I just hadn't grasped it yet.
When I was in fourth year and failing my prelim, I realised that I needed to do more work at home. I was trying the questions and thought I just can't do these. However, I thought back to my maths lessons and remembered my teacher saying, "You can't do it yet." So I went to supported study and asked teachers for help. With a bit of hard work, I learned how to do it, passed my final exam, and that's the way I approach my studies now.